Berachos Daf Yud Zayin, we're going to continue with the special davening that Tanaim and Amoraim inserted at the end of their Shemona Esrei. Rav Safar would say, Rebbeinu Shel Olam, please put peace between the Malachim and Shemayim, because when they fight, war breaks out down below. Have peace between Talmidei Chachamim and between people that learn Torah Lishma for its own sake and people that learn Torah for their sake, for their kavod. And those who learn Torah Shalei Lishma, they should have the schos to learn eventually Torah Lishma. According to one opinion, Alexandria used to say, Hashem, put us in a corner. If you're already putting us in a corner, make sure there's light in that corner, and don't put us in a dark corner, and our heart shouldn't be aching, and our eyes shouldn't be dim. According to another Pshat, Alexandria said, it's our will to do your will, but what's preventing us? Sa'ar should be Isa, the Sahara. And Shibud Malchuyos, the fact that we're in Galus, please take those two things away and we'll behave properly. Rav used to say, what we say on Yom Kippur by Vidui, I was not worthy to be born, and now that I was born and created, I'm still not worthy. I am dust when I'm alive, and certainly after I'm dead, after I die. And he wrote something that I shouldn't sin any longer, and whatever I sin, please erase completely. My Bereder Ravina used to say, basically what we say every day after Shemona Esrei, etc. And then he goes on to say, save me from a Isha Ra, from a bad woman and a bad guy. Rav Sheshes, and this is what we say when you have a Tainis Yachad, you'd say, when we had a Beis HaMikdash, we would be makriv korbanos on the Mizbeach, and we would only put the chaylev and the fat and the blood. This Tainis that I'm fasting, now I have less fat, less blood, that should be as a korban and be mechaper me. And then the Gemara goes on to say beautiful sayings that Tanaim and Amoraim used to say. Rebbe Yochanan would say, when he would finish Eoiv, he says, everybody's destined to die, whether it's an animal or human being. The famous song, Ashri Mi Shegodel Bat Torah V'Amoli Bat Torah. Praiseworthy is the person who grows up with Torah and toils in Torah, V'Oisa Nachas Ruach L'Yotzroi, and creates a beautiful nachas to his creator, and he dies with a great name, with a great reputation. Toiv Shem, Mishem and Toiv, a good name is better than good oil. And this is my favorite. Reb Meir would say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells people, Gemor b'libcha, try to understand my ways. Mahu rachum, afator rachum, etc. V'lishka dadasi, a person should be a masman when it comes to Torah. Have Torah in your heart, and you should always have Yiras Shamayim in front of your eyes. Watch, guard your tongue, guard your mouth from sinning, and you should act b'kedusha b'tahara, and therefore I will be with you wherever you are. Chacham Yavne would say, I'm a creation and you're a creation. I go to learn Torah, you go to work in the field. My job is easier. I'm closer to home. And what are you going to say? And this is unbelievable. If a person says, I'm an Amaretz, what good is it that I'm learning Torah? I don't understand it as well as the other one, says the Gemara. That's not true. The main focus is the intent and the effort a person puts in. You can learn the same amount as somebody else, and that person understands more than you. You get the same amount of schar as that other person because you had the same intent. Abai used to say a person should always be conniving when it comes to the Yetzer Hara, try to trick him when it comes to Yiras Hashem. A person who answers softly will do away with a lot of anger, and a person should always seek peace with his relatives and with his brothers, with his friends, and even with goyim in the marketplace. The Gemara brings Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai would never allow somebody to say hello to him first. He was always the one to initiate the hello, even to a non-Jew in the marketplace. Rava says that the main point of Torah, and that's the ikar in the world, is to do ma'asim tovim and tshuva. A person shouldn't be someone who just learns Torah and then kicks the person who taught him the Torah like his father, his mother, and his rebbe. So we're talking about a different type of lishma, a person who learns Torah. Shaloi lishma, lekanter, that means in order to outdo somebody else, that's a person that's better, they shouldn't have been created. Rav says, this world is different than the world to come. In the world to come, even if we have a physical body, we're not going to be dealing with eating, sleeping, puruvu. We're not going to be jealous of each other. There's not going to be competition. We're just going to be sitting with crowns on our heads and basking in the glory of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara's famous question, if women don't learn Torah, how are they Zoicha to Olam Haba? And how are they Zoicha to protection according to the Vilna Gaon? And the Gemara answers, by bringing their children to learn Chumash in school and allowing their husbands to learn Mishnayos and Gemara, Daf Yomi, and waiting for their husbands, because in those days their husbands would leave for extended amount of time, waiting for the husbands to come back from learning. That's how they share in the Torah in Olam Haba. The Gemara brings a beautiful bracha that Chachamim would say to each other, and basically it includes all the limbs in the body, that their mouth should talk Torah, their feet should run to Torah, their eyes should look forward to Torah, etc. There's a machlokes in the pasuk, Alufeinu Misubalim. Alufeinu means our leaders, Misubalim, we take the burden. One man says Alufeinu is that they're our leaders in Torah, Misubalim, that they have the yoke of mitzvahs. The other says Alufeinu is referring to Torah and mitzvahs, Misubalim is referring to Yisurim. And the Gemara goes on to say that we make a bracha that we shouldn't be like David and Shaul, that they had bad advisors like Achitophel and Doeg, and we shouldn't have children that go off the derech. Machlokes in the pasuk, Abirei Leiv Haruchaykim Tzedakah. Who are these Abirei Leiv? One shot is we're talking about tzaddikim, that they are distant from tzedakah, so to speak, that they could sustain themselves. They don't need to come on Kaviyachal Takadosh Baruch Hu to help them, whereas the entire world has to come on Takadosh Baruch Hu. The Gemara brings that Rav Chanina, the famous Baskel, would come out and say, Chanina B'ni, he doesn't need anything but some boxer, some charuvim, where the entire world is sustained because of him. The other pshat is that Abiri Leiv is referring to the Rishayim, like the Gevanim that lived within the midst of Klal Yisrael for many generations and they never became Gerim. They didn't see the beauty of Klal Yisrael. Or the people from Mechasya, who they saw Klal Yisrael gathering together before Yontif, 30 days before Yontif, before Pesach, before Rosh Hashanah. Taisus even brings that a flume of fire would come down from the sky, a pillar of fire, and they still didn't do tshuva, they didn't become gerim. I think we're going on to say that there's machlokes. Well, we know you're allowed to do malacha on Tisha B'Av, and in a place that you don't do malacha, you shouldn't do malacha, but if you're a Talmid Chacham, you should never do malacha on Tisha B'Av. The question is whether a person could act like a Talmid Chacham. Is that considered mechzik yura, or is that considered haughtiness or not? The Gemara goes on to say that if it's obvious that you're doing it as you are, such as a chassan who doesn't say Kriya Shema, everybody knows that he doesn't have kavanah. Why is he saying Kriya Shema? He shouldn't do so. On the other side, you could say, well, nobody knows what he's doing. When it comes to Tisha B'Av, maybe he doesn't have a job, that's why he's not working. Or on the other hand, you could say, everybody knows that he has a job, and the reason why he's not working is because he's acting as a Balgaiva. And basically that finishes, with that we finish the second parak. And the Mishnah says in the third parak, Misha Meisoi, if you have a deceased one, a loved one in front of you, you're probably from Kriya Shema, from Tefillin, from Shemona Esrei, and there's a machlokes in the Gemara whether the body has to be right in front of you, or even if it's not in front of you. And we'll go into it a little bit more tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.